for the study of pain to celebrate the World Pain Day. Today, we have a webinar, and the presenter is someone that we all know. In fact, she is the immediate past president of the Society for the Study of Pain. And then Professor Aderonke Akinpelu. Professor Akinpelu is a physiotherapist and an exercise physiologist with over 40 years experience working as a lecturer, researcher, and clinician. As a professor of physiotherapy, she has made major contributions to physiotherapy training at undergraduate and postgraduate levels in Nigeria. Our research in physiotherapy focuses on health outcomes assessment and musculoskeletal research. And in collaboration with several researchers, she has contributed to improving awareness of outcome measures in Nigeria. She contributed to English literature, the first standardized outcome measure, Ibadan, knee hip osteoarthritis measure, IQAM, originally developed for the Nigerian environment and culture. And the IQAM has been translated and validated into the 3 major Nigerian languages, Hausa, Igbo, and Yoruba. She has also developed a second Nigerian culture and environment-friendly scale, the Ibadan Low Back Pain Disability Questionnaire. She has also worked severally on quality of life. She has translated or cross-culturally adapted many standardized outcome measuring scales for quality of life, pain, stroke, community rehabilitation, integration, knee osteoarthritis disability, and this have been translated to Yoruba, Igbo, or Hausa. She has also published several articles on the subject of pain, especially in year 2002. She published the correlative study of 3 pain rating scales among obstetric patients, among numerous articles that she has published in international journals. Today, we have Professor Akinpelu speaking to us on our impact chronic cases, and she is going to be citing several case studies. Professor Akinpelu, please, you have the floor, ma'am.
Can I show my face?
Yes, please.
Trying to see how I can do that with my video. Is it start video?
Yes, just click start video.
Okay.
We can see you now. Okay. Yes, we can see you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Can you hear me?
Good evening, ma'am. We can hear you.
Good evening. This is real. It is my turn. Emilokon. When the president approached me about a week ago, I told myself that there's no escape because I have to taste what SSPN started under my leadership some years ago. So at your service, Mr. President, sir. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The topic we are discussing today to celebrate 2024 World Pain Day is high impact chronic pain. Can you see my face? Okay.
We can see you, ma. Please go on, ma.
Sorry, I can't see my screen again. I don't know what I did. Webinar. Okay. The primary objective is not to discuss management of high impact chronic pain, but to show that high impact chronic pain occurs in conditions other than cancer in Nigeria, to remind ourselves as SSPN members and other healthcare providers that high impact chronic pain can be effectively managed when healthcare providers work together as a team, and to remind ourselves that SSPN needs to take pain management in Nigeria to a high level or higher level by focusing on establishment of pain clinics. You will remember that that was the theme of our conference last year. World Pain Day or Global Pain Against Pain was created by the IASP, the World Health Organization, and the European Federation of IASP chapters on the 11th of October 2004. Now, Global Day Against Pain holds every year on the 17th of October today. The goal of Global Day Against Pain is to raise awareness that relief of pain is human right. Why Global Day Against Pain? These are my ideas. I think pain is a global health problem that has produced high economic and social burden, and it continues to produce this burden. It is underrated in many parts of the world, including Nigeria. It's undertreated. Pain is undertreated in Nigeria and many parts of the world. There is poor awareness of appropriate pain management, especially by the Nigerian public, for example. There's also poor access to quality or effective pain treatment in low-income countries. There is also limited use of opioids due to healthcare providers' fear of drug addiction in many countries, especially Nigeria. And that has led to opioids, morphine expiring in the national drug stores in Nigeria. And it is really a problem. Well, this is just to remind us of the IASP current definition of pain and types of pain. Pain is generally classified as either acute, that lasts less than 3 months, and chronic, that persists or is intermittent. It comes intermittently and lasts more than 3 months. Either of them can be neuropathic or nociceptive. Epidemiology of chronic pain. Chronic pain occurs in about 30% of the world's population. In Europe and North America, it is said to occur in 20 to 30% of this population. The 2008 World Mental Health survey for Nigerians aged 18 years and above reported the prevalence estimate of chronic pain to be 30%. But you can imagine that this could have increased a lot. And some clinical studies of different groups in Nigeria, farmers, occupational health, occupational drivers, computer users, have reported prevalence estimates of chronic pain to be between 50 and 73.5%. Chronic pain may occur post-trauma or in disorders. Examples of these diseases or disorders include chronic back pain, chronic neck pain, osteoarthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, and fibromyalgia. What is high-impact chronic pain? High-impact chronic pain is pain that frequently impacts life and job activities. It negatively impacts well-being. It results in poor quality of life, and the prevalence estimate of high-impact chronic pain is 8% for the USA population. I couldn't find any estimate for the Nigerian population. I apologize. High-impact chronic pain and physical activities. High-impact chronic pain results in limitations of mobility and performance of daily activities in terms of difficulty to walk, to manage stairs, to sit, especially for a long period, and difficulty getting up from sitting. It also results in difficulty with self-care, taking the shower, dressing up, lacing your shoes, and so on. High-impact chronic pain can also result in postural alteration. You find many of them bending forward. Sometimes they may have all sorts of deformities, including scoliosis, kyphosis, and so on. It may also disturb sleep, especially night sleep, and it may result in fatigue. What is the effect or are the effects of high impact chronic pain and emotional well-being? These are emotional and psychological disturbances in terms of anxiety, depression, and in extreme cases, suicidal thoughts. High impact chronic pain and job activities. High impact chronic pain results in poor interaction with co-workers. People who have this problem have poor performance due to difficulty to think, to focus, and to concentrate on their jobs. They take time off duty a lot of time. And of course, in extreme cases, they may lose their jobs. What are the effects of high impact chronic pain on social life? Social isolation that may be due to constant struggle with pain, which may lead to difficulty maintaining social relationship and participating in social events. And social isolation may also result from physical limitations, difficulty moving around, and fear of exacerbation of pain. may make the sufferers to withdraw from hobbies, from interests, and so on. High impact chronic pain and personal relationships. Of course, what high impact chronic pain results in is strain on relationships with family members, because that may lead to constant worry and may lead to anxiety. Physical care of the person who suffers high impact chronic pain may lead to physical strain on family members. And of course, there will be it may also result in drain on family finances due to payment of medical bills. And you know that in this environment, most times we pay out of pocket for our medical bills. And high impact chronic pain have been reported from many studies to result in poor quality of life that is lower in people have it than those without chronic pain. So it has negative effect or impact on all domains of quality of life, especially physical health, emotional well-being, and social relationships. Now, the case studies. I'm presenting 4 case studies. The first case study is about a middle-aged woman in Ibadan with history of persistent left chest pain and shoulder girdle pain for many months. Her pain would not yield to analgesic drugs. She thought the pain could be due to heart problems, so she consulted a cardiologist, but all investigations by the cardiologist failed to confirm a heart problem. At about that time, she lost a close cousin to a breast cancer, so she convinced herself that her pain was from breast cancer. So she consulted a surgical oncologist who found no sign of breast cancer in her. This woman pressurized the surgical oncologist so much that he took a biopsy of her breast, even though there was no indication for it. Histological studies was carried out, and and there was no confirmation of cancer, but the pain persisted. Then you know that when this kind of problem occurs, you have cancer from different angles. So a friend of this woman told her about a Chinese health center in Kaduna where pain was treated more effectively than by Western medicine. So she traveled to Lagos, took a flight to Kaduna, lodged in a hotel, and was treated for about 3 weeks at the center without any positive result. By the time she returned to Ibadan, her husband has developed high blood pressure and was placed on 2 drugs. She went back to the cardiologist she first consulted, and the cardiologist suspected her pain could be from her neck, possibly due to cervical spondylosis. So he referred her to an orthopedic surgeon. A radiograph ordered by the orthopedic surgeon confirmed cervical spondylosis. Then she was referred for physiotherapy. So what is the impact of this high high impact chronic pain in this woman, on this woman's well-being. The first one is worry. We can see clearly that there was a lot of worry and anxiety. There was absence from work. There was the drain on the family finances. She went to Kaduna, lodged in a hotel. She was treated. She paid fees. Her husband started taking drugs for high blood pressure. You know, the husband got worried and developed illness because the quality of life is low. The second case is about an obese woman with history of severe low back pain for about 7 years. She sought medical help.
My friend said that was where they want to.
She just got disconnected. The second case study is about a woman, an obese woman with history of. Can you hear me?
Yes,
can
you
hear
can.
you, ma.
With history
Yes.
of severe low back pain for about 7 years. She sought medical help but was unable to get much relief. She worked on her weight. She lost quite some weight. She changed her job and she moved to another state. She started a business and was doing very well, but her low back pain grew worse. Her posture changed. She bent forward due to the pain. Walking became difficult, and people started embarrassing her because of her posture and the way that she walked. She consulted an orthopedic surgeon who opined that her problem, her pain, was from severe hip arthritis. She had total hip replacement of one of her hips. Her business failed because of her absence and failure to monitor it, and she lost huge amount of money. Immediately after the surgery, that is after the hip replacement, she experienced a significant relief of pain, which I think might have been due to epidural anesthesia she had, and she was very happy. But to her disappointment, her back pain crept in gradually. Oh, she became upset, unhappy, and she cried often. Her aged parents became worried about her low back pain that seemed defiant to all treatment and her frequent crying. She would just break down any minute. She refused treatment by a visiting pain physician, and she refused to be referred to see a clinical psychologist. What is the impact of high or the effects of the impact on the well-being and quality of life of this woman? She suffered functional disability, emotional stress, business failure, and loss of huge amount of money. When I say huge amount of money, I mean several millions of naira. And that was pre this current government. You know what that means. Parent anxiety. And we can find even more. Poor quality of life. Okay, the third case is about a widow in her late 50s, she was diagnosed to suffer chronic, she has high impact chronic pain from sciatic joint disorder. She has 2 sons who are doing very well. Her job demands prolonged sitting at meetings. Her pain was severe and persistent. Her pain would not allow her to sit comfortably for any appreciable length of time. Her pain disturbed her night sleep. She consulted an orthopedic surgeon, a spinal neurosurgeon, and physiotherapists at different times, but pain persisted. Physiotherapists did all they could, but her pain would not let her sit comfortably. One day, while she was with the physiotherapist, she said, "I prefer to die instead of this pain." When she was reminded by the physiotherapist that her sons had no dad and they needed her, her response was, "You don't know what I am going through." She was treated by a pain physician and she reported a little bit of relief of pain. So what is the impact on this woman's well-being? Daily activity limitation, difficulty meeting work demands, sleep disturbance, emotional stress, suicidal thoughts. Now the last case is about a young man, 20 years old, whose pain progressively spread from her right hip to the left hip, to the neck, the knees, the ankles, and shoulders over the last 9 years. Rheumatoid arthritis was confirmed 5 years ago. He now stands on his right lower limb, that is the right leg, because the left leg has flexion deformity, so cannot really touch the floor. He ambulates using elbow crutches. He has scoliosis, and he believes that the scoliosis was due to prolonged use of one crutch throughout her secondary school days. And according to him, nobody told him it was wrong to use only one crutch. He was unable to function in a day without steroids. He stays alone at home when others go out. Parents go to work, siblings go to school. He wears hair in dreadlocks to avoid going out for frequent haircuts. The steroids he takes has made him hairy. He has not been able to continue his education after secondary school on account of his condition, the high impact chronic pain. He has a brother who is concerned about this, and his effort to make him to explore online education has yielded no results. He was referred for physiotherapy in preparation for right hip arthroplasty. The impact on this young man's well-being and quality of life include poor physical disability, social isolation, possible loss of relationship to a friends and old schoolmates. In summary, high impact chronic pain has serious and diverse consequences. Effective management of high-impact chronic pain requires concerted effort of healthcare providers working together. Society for the Study of Pain Nigeria and our members need to work on establishing multidisciplinary pain clinic in Nigeria healthcare facilities. Thank you for your attention. Mr. President, I'm through.
Thank you. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Wow, that was highly impactful, and it's a good time to listen to this kind of thing. But today is the World Pain Day, and you've been able to take us through a webinar that actually epitomizes the purpose of a day like this. Well, just like you said, since taking care of pain is a human right, I think it will be a good time to ask members of the Society for the Study of Pain and other people that are on this webinar for their contributions, questions, contributions to this webinar. So the floor is open. It's either you put it in the chat box, or you can raise your hand if you have any comments. Meanwhile, I will be going through the chat to see whether there are questions. Okay, commendations in this chat box for now. No question yet. I say thank you for that. Okay, thank you, Ma, for the real world scenarios that portray the lived experiences of individuals with high impact chronic pain. That's the purpose of being a clinician. I mean, that's what a clinician of 40 years would reflect. Any question from the floor?
Can I stop sharing my slides?
Well, in case some people want to refer to the slide, that would mean that you need to start it again.
Okay, okay.
While we wait for others to ask, okay, Professor Fakunle, she has put a chat. Let me try and read the chat. Okay, Professor Fakunle, that's former president of SSPN as well, highly stimulating, the very essence of why the SSPN exists. Yes, very,
thank you.
Very true, very true, very true. That's the essence. My question is, at what point should we start taking cognizance of our patients' well-being? Let me put it this way: at what point does pain like this become something that you probably need to bring in a clinical psychologist? Yes.
Well, when you start noticing or the person manifesting these psychological disturbances, usually they are able to cope with some low degree of physical disability, but when it is severe, it comes with psychological distress. And that is when you need to, and when you have tried, as a physiotherapist, you're also distressed because you try everything and this patient is not improving. You know, so the point that you must involve other healthcare professionals in the care of the patient is when you know, it can be at the beginning, the start of your referral. Once you notice that this patient has problems beyond the pain, there is all these other components of the impact, then you try to involve other healthcare providers. But I imagine that if there are centers, there are clinics where the patient will be attended to by different healthcare providers, you know, then it should be easier. For instance, the lady I tried to refer to a clinical psychologist who refused. If it was in a center, it will not be that difficult. You know, the attitude of the average Nigerian is that I'm not turning. I don't have any form of insanity. Why should I say psychologist? To them, psychologists are just a shade from the psychiatrist, so they don't want to see them. So the earlier you observe some form of anxiety, distress, and so on, especially when your counsel is not working, then you have to involve some other healthcare professionals. That's what I think. Maybe others can contribute.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hello.
There's several. Okay, ma'am, please go ahead, ma'am. Go ahead, ma'am.
Hello. Is it me?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very
Go
much.
ahead.
Yes, I'm going to
Thank you,
start
ma.
on that last note.
Yes, ma.
Yes, it's very distressing seeing a patient in pain, the kind of things that you have talked about. And I agree, many times when you ask them to see a psychologist, a clinical psychologist, they are reluctant. That has been the experience, and that's what they say. And I agree with them. But I want to say that that's the essence of having a multidisciplinary clinic. And this year, we got to hear that the federal government has said we should start training and certifying clinicians in pain medicine. And to do that, we would need to have pain clinics where that is multidisciplinary. The physiotherapists, the anesthetists, the occupational therapists, the radiologists, the clinical psychology, everybody will be there. And when we run those clinics, people will be trained on how to manage them. I believe that if in that setting, if you ask somebody to see a clinical psychologist, it won't be too strange because there will be others who attend these clinics that have been going there. It will be quite helpful when we have these multidisciplinary clinics, and we are going to be better off. There are exciting days ahead, I believe, for us as clinicians looking after patients in pain in Nigeria. Once these ones are good, the difficulty is that it's so strange. It's a strange concept for many hospitals, for many people in Nigeria, for many clinicians, doctors, physiotherapists, everybody, to think that they can work in such a setting. And so as long as we work in isolation and everybody keeps on thinking, I'm the only one who can look after them, the patients will not receive the best of treatment. Everybody has one role or the other to play in managing these high impact chronic pain cases. They can be very severe, and their incidents, they form the vast majority of pain cases all over the world in developed countries where the statistics are. Its existence is up to about 30%, and that is quite high. Although we have not focused on it on a national basis, I think it may be that high from the isolated cases that we see in different hospitals. So there is a need for us to look at this holistically. I'm glad that SSPN has already gone ahead to hold a conference on multidisciplinary pain clinics. So for us, it's not strange to us. And so we can only improve wherever we are, because we have the knowledge. When called upon to join in offering such a service, we will willingly do it because we have been educated in terms of knowing what it is. Yeah? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you very, very much, ma'am. And just like you said, if we are together, we don't have to start seeking this level of referral that may even scare our patients. Since we are together, it's just a matter of delivering what we usually preach. That's the holistic level of type of treatment. Is there any other? I'm trying to read the chat where Professor Akinpelu is currently up the page, but I'm sure. Okay. Okay, there are some questions about how prevalent is psychogenic pains in high impact pain presentation in the clinic. I think Professor Pakonle, ma'am, how you can help while we wait for Professor Akinpelu to return. I think you mentioned something briefly about that. How prevalent is psychogenic pain?
There are studies. I had to join with others to write a book recently. It's just been recently published, Pain in Vulnerable Populations. And I had to look at the state of chronic pain in Africa. I was amazed looking at the statistics. We don't have figures in Africa. We don't have obvious figures in Africa, but in developed countries, it can be, the prevalence can be up to about 30% of the population. And you see them in diverse ways, just like Professor Akinpelu has talked about, yes, manifesting in various ways.
Yes, there was.
So
I said there was a
incidence is quite high, but we don't have a national figure as Nigerians, but we have obvious pockets of papers and publications. What we have focused more here is the isolated things where we practice. And those are the publications that come out. But abroad, in Italy, globally, you have more figures for the developed world. And chronic pain is a big threat in the world today. It's big medicine. And it's something that is troubling. We need to take a closer look at. Thank you.
Okay, ma'am. I think part of the solution will not be just like Professor Akinpelu has also challenged, and you have also added to that challenge. It's time to do what SSPN can do, and that's initiating such studies so that we can have a Nigerian or a national data. Aditoyi, I don't know, I'm sorry, I don't know whether Dr. Professor, please kindly go ahead and make your contributions.
Good evening, sir. Thanks for the opportunity. I want
Dr.
to thank the previous speakers. This is Dr. Aderonke. Thank you, sir. Well, I love what Professor Fakmole said. It's quite an innovation that will help the patient. But I'm also an optimist. But with the state of things in the nation now, JAPA and all the likes, with the number of people left in the system, I'm just wondering within me how we are going to be able to live at different posts to gather at a point, especially in hospitals where their facilities are scattered all over the place. I can imagine the distance between the physiotherapy unit in Ife and where the anesthetists will be and where the neurologists will be and all other people who are supposed to constitute that team. Well, it's a good dream. And I'm hopeful that in the nearest future or in the shortest time possible, we'll be able to achieve this, even when it is becoming difficult for us to perform our basic duty at the different sections for now. So sparing people too, that's why those clinics have been failing in my own thought. That's why they've been failing. People are overwhelmed. Your primary assignment, attaching this to it is now becoming a difficult task. And that's why you won't, for example, I run a pain clinic by the sideline of my auto list. So if you are referring the patient to me, I will have to tell the patient, come to theater. So I will see around the theater area and this, because there are one or two lists I have to supervise. So I can't leave that place and get out and all those things. I'm hopeful that will work. And maybe when we produce more people, things will then work and they are staying. We are hopeful. Thank you, sir.
Chairman, please, can I just allay Dr. Adetoye's fears?
Please go ahead.
We
ma'am.
have had
Go
a
ahead.
pain clinic in Nigeria before. The first
Yes, ma'am.
pain clinic
Yes, ma'am.
was run in the UCH in
Yes,
the
I remember.
70s, I think, until the 80s. You don't have to stay at your duty post. A pain clinic is just what a clinic is. It is, everybody has a role to play. Every practitioner that has something to do there is present in that single place that you call the clinic. Not that you will be coming from your physiotherapy department or from your anesthesia department and referring patients all over the hospital. The clinic exists and is run like a clinic in anywhere in the world. And when the patient when you need to see a physiotherapist, there's a physiotherapist there. It's not everybody who is a physiotherapist in the hospital that has to. It's those ones who are trained in pain medicine. It's not every clinical psychologist. You have the personnel and you will run it. There'll be clinic days. There'll be clinic days that the psychologist will be there. There'll be clinic days that you will run some interventional pain things. It exists, it's run. So your fear of going around and everybody, that's not the way it is. I will share the proposal with you because this proposal has even been approved and hospitals are supposed to walk around, study it and see how they can make it feasible to be able to train people. Let's not look at the challenges. Those of us who are still around, if we are enthusiastic enough, we shouldn't be overwhelmed. Our country will rise again. There will be greatness for this country. We will go back. As I said, pain clinics have been run in this country before. And those are by our fathers and our mothers in the past. So that we're talking about it now shows that the government itself is aware of the fact that it is constituting a problem. And the best way to solve it is still to reinstate this pain clinic. What you are running by the side of the theater there is not the pain clinic. It's not what we're talking about. It is multidisciplinary. Everybody is present. The things that you need to treat the patients, maybe it's a C-arm, maybe what.
Okay. Thank you very much, ma'am. I guess while we wait for Professor Fakole to return, although she has allayed our fears.
You will understand what we are talking about. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Yes.
I totally agree with you. And why I will want to say this, it's working in some other units too. I know of the neurosurgery unit in the clinic where I work. I know of the new stroke unit now. And there's a way that is being managed that we're also taking advantage of what technology has been able to offer. And then there are days that people, there are clinic days that people come around, and those things are working. It's just like Dr. Aderonke said, there are fewer people on ground now. But I think that's one of the reasons why we should now come together, because the fewer you become, the more you need to now rely on others. I mean, so that you can actually work the way we should work. Because if you are doing it in silos, it will be obvious that you have fewer strength or fewer numbers. But if you work together as we should, even the number that looks small, they become bigger and then larger than we assume. Somebody asked whether the slide will be shared. Yes, we usually convert to YouTube, and then the YouTube page, the YouTube link will be shared. And so you can watch this presentation on YouTube. I know Professor Akinpelu has been having some difficulty returning. She actually put a call through, but because I am also on this, I couldn't really answer a call. But okay, Professor Odoli, will you want
I think
to
there's a question here,
things?
Dr. Dada.
Okay.
I don't know whether there's this question by Dr. David and on how prevalent is sarcogenic pains and high impact pain.
It was answered. It was answered by Professor Fakonle.
Okay.
It was answered by Professor. That's where she said that we don't have data in Nigeria to, and then we now mentioned that it's the SSPN is listening, that we need to do those things as national data instead of individual survey within the little places that we work. So that was when we said something about that. I noticed that Professor Odoli probably wanted to say something, so that was why I was calling our attention.
So thank you, Dr. Dada. I actually posed a question for Professor Akinpelu, and I think she has somewhat responded to the question. I wanted her to share her experiences on how the psychological effects of the high impact pain, how those effects were managed. And I think she did mention that there was a time she referred to a clinical psychologist who didn't want to get into the management. So I think she has answered somewhat. I don't have any other comments.
Okay, ma'am. Thanks very much. Just to say that the IQAM that Professor Akinpelu mentioned, the co-researcher, Professor Odoli, IQAM. So Professor Akinpelu is back. I'm sorry, ma'am. I couldn't pick your call because I was online. I was online here, and it will have cut me off when I was trying to respond to things. So you're welcome, ma'am. Professor Fakonle had been helping with some of the responses. Basically, the one question that if you don't mind chipping in is how prevalent is psychogenic pain in the clinics in Nigeria among patients with chronic pain in Nigeria? How prevalent is psychogenic pain?
Well, I will not be able to provide an answer to that. I don't know. I don't know. Because I cannot use the few cases that I have seen to give a prevalent estimate. I don't know.
Okay, ma'am. Well, I agree with you.
Dr. Dada, I think
yes,
that open up a research question for interested people. What we don't know now, yes, we can always try to design research questionnaires or other things and hypotheses and try to test or try to evaluate and report.
Okay, sir. Professor Odoli, ma'am, our hand was up.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Dada. I just wanted to add to what Professor Fakonle already said earlier. She actually did say that we do not have equivalent estimate on a national level. And that was where you suggested that we should have national data and that we should go on to have research that would provide the national data of equivalent estimates.
Yes. I you know, Professor Akinpelu was not around when we were discussing it, so that was
No,
why
I was
I
not.
wanted.
I don't know. And
Okay.
my internet was on. I don't know why.
Okay.
the
And
Zoom
so
kept-
just okay. So, Prof, that's the conclusion, and the challenge is that we should also have a national data, because I remember I recollect that when Dr. Jao Aquina presented something on pain among vulnerable people, and some of the things that he mentioned, and of course they were not Nigerian data, definitely. And so it's an opportunity for anyone who is interested in doing that, and I think it will be appreciated, especially national data, to see the prevalence of sarcogenic pain among patients with chronic pain in Nigeria, especially high impact chronic pain in Nigeria. Thank you. In the absence of no other question, for those who want to be members of the Society for the Study of Pain, the information is posted now. There's a number that you will be asked to reach out to, but for the purpose of this meeting, I am going to put my own phone number, and I'm sure the president too put his phone number. I'm the national secretary, so my phone number is being posted. If you are interested in being member of the SSPN, my phone number is here posted. That's the national secretary's number. And if there's anyone who wants more information, then you can be sure that we'll be able to provide that. Okay, let me put my number on the chat so that we can have.
We're almost done.
Yes, we're almost done. Please help us to mute so that we will not be hearing your voice. Okay, so I posted my number. My name is Olumide Dada, and then the president too has posted his number too. So please get in touch with us. Membership for a year is 1,000 naira. The annual due is 10,000 naira. Membership is 10,000. Annual due is 10,000. So if you want to be a member of the Society for Study of Pain, just as you have heard, we are a multidisciplinary society. We believe that pain management is multidisciplinary, and not only do we preach it, we also practice it. We have in our midst anesthetists, we have pain physicians, we have anesthetists, we have physiologists, we have physiotherapists, we have nurses, we have pharmacists, we have veterinary doctors, we have all professions, both professionals in basic medical sciences, basic clinical sciences, and even in clinical sciences. So you're welcome to join us. I will hand over to the president so that we can have a wrap and then we call it a day. Thank you, Professor Akinpelu. The president will do the closing.
Thank you, Dr. Dada, for an excellent moderation of this special webinar. So this is a second webinar in the month, and it's a special webinar dedicated to the World Pain Day. We appreciate earlier on the Osun State chapter for organizing an actual event. I was supposed to be there, but I was ably represented by the Assistant Secretary. We want to thank our presenter today. We were like, who are we going to call? Who is not busy? Who is not? And I approached her. I want to especially appreciate Professor Akinpelu, Aderonke Akinpelu, for obliging us at short notice. She has told us So has told me one of the story, and I know it was a very interesting story when we had a program on pain school, and I just told her that it would be lovely to share this story on a national platform, and I believe that we have all enjoyed not just one story now, not just one case study now. We have enjoyed 4, which are very stimulating and thought-provoking. We thank you for the time that you have taken and the love that you have for the SSPN, even after you finish your tenure. We also want to thank Professor Fakwanle for the support that you have for us. And I'm hearing some new things about pain clinic and certification. And I think we can move forward and collaborate the more. Thank you for all the good work you have done when you were president, and you have never stopped supporting the activities. We can see the passion you have for this society, and we are really appreciative. We thank all our professors and all the ESCO members, Professor Odole and the Assistant Secretary and other people who have attended. I mean, it's easy to join, and people have been asking for how to get this link. I probably don't know where you came from if you are not a member of SSPN. I know because we have circulated this link for this meeting generally, but we may not be able to circulate the YouTube link. So it is advisable that you join. Every month we have stimulating lectures like this. And I think this is part of continuing medical education. So on this note, I want to thank everybody, and I want to call it a day. And hopefully we see you next month when we have another presenter on a regular basis. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Good night, everyone. Thank you, Dr.
Good
Solu
night.
Atua.